Camilla was in a very, very unpleasant situation. She almost became a prisoner in her own home. She was vilified.
The palace walls have always held secrets.
A symbol of Britain, the scene of countless royal celebrations.
But none quite as compelling as the tale of two women who would both wear the weight of royal expectation.
All the people that helped Camilla get the crown on her head were excluded, and they were furious. Kate and William were angry too.
Though only one could wear the crown at a time. Picture this. It's a crisp November evening at Windsor Castle, 2024. Queen Camilla, 77, steps back from yet another engagement, citing a persistent chest infection.
Queen Camilla has been forced to withdraw from key engagements after being diagnosed with a chest infection.
Meanwhile, Catherine, Princess of Wales, 42, having battled her own demons this year,
Princess of Wales has just announced that she is undergoing treatment for cancer.
stands poised at the threshold of a new chapter. The British press watches with bated breath. Palace insiders whisper. The public, ever fascinated by royal drama, leans in closer. This is not a story of villains and heroes. This is the story of two women, each remarkable, each flawed, each fighting for their place in an institution that has always demanded more than it gives. The ghosts that walk between them. Before we can understand the present, we must excavate the past. And in this case, the past wears Diana's face. Camilla Parker. Bowles, now Queen Camilla, has spent decades trying to escape a shadow. Not just any shadow, but the golden, glittering shadow of the most photographed woman in the world, Princess Diana.
She was pretty, she was vulnerable, she was shy, she was warm. We hadn't seen a royal like this ever.
Their story is the stuff of Shakespearean tragedy, a tale so twisted that even fiction would struggle to make it believable. It began in 1980, when a 19-year-old Lady Diana Spencer entered Charles's world. What Diana didn't know, what Charles failed to tell her, was that Camilla wasn't just another friend in his aristocratic circle. She was the woman he loved. The woman he'd always loved. Before Diana's engagement was even announced, Camilla invited her to lunch. Diana later remembered it as very tricky indeed. Camilla asked whether Diana would hunt when she moved to Highgrove. An odd question, Diana thought. Only later did she understand. Camilla was mapping her territory, determining what parts of Charles's life she could keep for herself. Diana famously said in her 1995 BBC Panorama interview, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." By then, the affair between Charles and Camilla, suspended briefly during the early years of the Wales marriage, had fully resumed. In 1989, Diana confronted Camilla at a birthday party, telling her point blank, "I know what's going on between you and Charles." Camilla's response? "You've got everything you ever wanted. You've got all the men in the world to fall in love with you, and you've got 2 beautiful children. What more do you want?" Diana's reply cut through the pretense. "I want my husband." The confrontation reportedly silenced the entire party. Guests stood frozen as the wronged wife faced the mistress. Camilla, maintaining her composure, later told Diana that her behavior was unacceptable in a private house. But the damage was done. The affair was no longer a whispered secret. It was a public truth. Diana died in 1997. Camilla did not attend her funeral. Enter Catherine, the commoner who would be queen. Fast forward to 2001. A shy, middle-class girl from Berkshire named Catherine Middleton arrives at St. Andrews University in Scotland. She has no royal blood, no aristocratic pedigree. Her mother was a flight attendant. Her ancestors included coal miners. By royal standards, she was nobody. But she had something Camilla never possessed: youth on her side, and crucially, she arrived after Diana. There was no ghost to compete with, at least not at first. Kate, as she was known then, met Prince William in their dorm. They became friends, then housemates. In March 2002, William watched Kate walk down a runway in a charity fashion show, wearing a sheer dress. Something shifted. By Christmas 2003, they were a couple. Here's where the story gets interesting. According to royal biographer Christopher Anderson, Camilla didn't approve of Kate at all. Anderson claimed that Camilla, a bit of a snob, didn't believe Kate was worthy of joining the royal family. Camilla allegedly whispered in Charles's ear, encouraging him to pressure William to either commit or break up with Kate. In 2007, William did exactly that. He broke up with Kate over the phone. The split lasted only a few months. Kate, rather than crumbling, went out with her sister Pippa, got photographed, looking fabulous, and reminded William what he was missing. They reunited, and by 2010, they were engaged. But that initial rejection, Kate didn't forget, and neither apparently did Camilla. The uneasy alliance. When Kate married William in 2011, she entered a family still healing from Diana's death, still adjusting to Camilla's presence. Charles and Camilla had married in 2005, a small civil ceremony, worlds away from the pomp of Charles and Diana's wedding. The British public remained divided. Many still saw Camilla as the homewrecker who destroyed their beloved princess. Kate, by contrast, was embraced immediately. Young, beautiful, relatable, she represented a fresh start. She was the future Diana had been robbed of, the chance to see her son happily married to someone he genuinely loved. Royal experts claim that Kate and Camilla found common ground in those early years. Both had married into the world's most famous family. Both were scrutinized, judged, photographed. Both had to navigate the impossible standards of royal life. Some photographs from royal events show them laughing together on palace balconies, sharing private jokes during Trooping the Color. But was it genuine friendship, or simply a performance for the cameras? Royal expert Angela Levin insists Camilla helped Kate adjust to palace life. Camilla gets on very well with Catherine and helped her to understand the way you needed to be in the palace because it's very difficult. But other sources tell a different story. The cracks begin to show. The first public hint of tension came in September 2023 during a meet and greet for Donald and Melania Trump at Windsor Castle. A video captured an awkward moment. Camilla was chatting with the First Lady when Kate approached. Melania warmly greeted Kate, but Camilla? She looked off into the distance, visibly annoyed. As Kate and Melania conversed, Camilla appeared increasingly irritated, eventually shooing Kate away with a dismissive gesture. Royal watchers dissected the footage endlessly. What did it mean? Was Camilla asserting her position? Was Kate being put in her place? Then came 2024, a year that would test both women in ways neither could have anticipated. The year everything changed. In March 2024, Catherine announced the news that stopped the world. She had cancer. In a deeply personal video message, she revealed her diagnosis and her determination to fight. William, she said, was a great source of comfort and reassurance.
I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you personally for all the wonderful messages of support and for your understanding whilst I've been recovering from surgery.
The British public rallied around her. Suddenly, Kate wasn't just a princess. She was a survivor, a mother fighting for her life, a woman showing extraordinary courage in the face of unimaginable fear. Her popularity, already high, soared even higher. Meanwhile, King Charles was also battling cancer.
There are new bombshell claims today from royal insiders who say King Charles's cancer is incurable and he will likely die with the disease.
The monarchy was in crisis. Two of its most prominent members were undergoing treatment. The workload fell heavily on Camilla and William. And here's where the power dynamics began to shift. Sources close to the palace began leaking stories about tension between Camilla and Kate. According to Us Weekly in November 2024, the two have always had a tense relationship. An insider claimed, "She loves her responsibilities. Her whole life, she has always wanted to be queen, so she doesn't want to let it go so fast." The implication was clear. Camilla had worked for decades to gain public acceptance, to shed the mistress label, to finally wear the crown. She wasn't about to step aside gracefully for Kate. Not yet, anyway. Radar Online reported that palace aides described the relationship as noticeably tense and icy, with the clash stemming from a power struggle. Camilla feels sidelined, while Kate's growing confidence and visibility are unsettling her, one source claimed. Both are aware that the balance of power is shifting, and neither is prepared to step back quietly. The public perception problem. Here's the uncomfortable truth that hangs over this entire saga. The British public has never fully embraced Camilla. Recent YouGov polls show Kate as one of the most beloved royals, while Camilla has dropped out of the top 5. Kate connects with people. She takes her own children to school, does her own grocery shopping, sometimes, wears affordable, high-street brands. She's Diana's spiritual heir, the People's Princess 2.0. Camilla, despite her years of service, remains tainted by her past. She's seen as the woman who destroyed Diana. Fair or not, that perception endures. When Kate announced her cancer was in remission in September 2024, the public's relief was palpable. When she returned to royal duties, first at remembrance events, then at the Qatar state visit in November, she looked radiant, confident, transformed. This wasn't the shy girl from Berkshire anymore. This was a woman who had stared down mortality and emerged stronger. At the Qatar state visit, Kate wore pearls that belonged to Queen Elizabeth II, a deliberate choice that signaled continuity, legitimacy, royal approval from beyond the grave. What the emeralds represent. Now, about those emeralds. The Cambridge Emerald Collection, particularly the Delhi Durbar Tiara, has its own fascinating history. Created in the early 20th century, these pieces represent imperial grandeur, old-world luxury, the kind of jewelry that makes headlines whenever it appears. Camilla wore the Delhi Durbar Tiara in 2005 for a state banquet, shortly after her marriage to Charles. It was a statement. I am here. I am queen. I have earned this. But here's what's interesting. Kate has never worn these emeralds. She tends toward more understated pieces, pearls and diamonds, that evoke Elizabeth II's elegant restraint, rather than the showier, more ostentatious jewels. The emeralds have become, in a way, symbolic. They represent the old guard, Camilla's generation, Charles's reign, the last gasp of a monarchy that's struggling to remain relevant. Kate, by contrast, represents the future, modern, relatable, Instagram-friendly royalty for the digital age, the rivalry that dare not speak its name. The palace, of course, denies any rift. Royal protocol demands a united front, but the signs are everywhere if you know where to look. Kate and Camilla rarely appear together at events unless absolutely necessary. When they do, body language experts note the careful distance between them, the lack of genuine warmth. At Remembrance Sunday 2024, they stood on separate balconies, a detail that did not escape notice. William, meanwhile, has made his intentions clear. In interviews, he's spoken about wanting to do things differently, to create a smaller Our Royal approach. In simple terms, he's saying when he becomes king, things will change. The institution will slim down, modernize, become more accessible. Where does that leave Camilla? When Charles dies and William ascends, Camilla will technically become Queen Dowager, a ceremonial role with little actual power. She'll continue doing engagements, certainly, but she'll no longer be center stage. And Kate? Kate will be Queen Catherine, Queen Consort to King William V. She'll be the face of the monarchy, the woman whose children will inherit the throne. That transition, from Camilla's reign to Kate's, is what this entire conflict is really about. Two women, two paths. Let's pause for a moment and consider these women as human beings, not just chess pieces in a royal game. Camilla waited. For decades, she waited. She loved Charles when he married someone else, endured public hatred, carried the label of homewrecker with quiet dignity. When she finally became queen at 75, she'd earned it. Through sheer endurance, if nothing else. Kate, by contrast, married for love. She chose this life, yes, but she also faced years of brutal media scrutiny, was nicknamed Weighty Katie for not getting engaged fast enough, had her family mocked for their middle-class origins. She's raised 3 children in the public eye, battled cancer, and emerged as one of the monarchy's greatest assets. Both women have sacrificed enormously. Both have earned their positions, but only one can be queen at a time. The future is coming. As of November 2025, King Charles is 76 and battling cancer. He could reign for decades more, or his health could deteriorate rapidly. No one knows. What we do know is that William is quietly preparing to step up. Palace insiders say he's taking on more responsibilities, positioning himself for the transition. And Kate? Kate is right there beside him, every step of the way. When the transition happens, and it will happen, the monarchy will fundamentally change. William has made clear he wants a slimmed-down institution, fewer working royals, more focus on direct impact. The days of massive royal households and endless relatives on the balcony are numbered. Camilla, having finally achieved her life's ambition, will watch it slip through her fingers as a new generation takes over. Is it any wonder there's tension? The uncomfortable questions. Here's what keeps the British tabloids in business. The questions no one will answer directly. Does Camilla resent Kate for being everything she never was? Young, universally loved, untainted by scandal. Does Kate resent Camilla for the shadow she cast over William's childhood, for being the reason Diana suffered? Do they genuinely like each other, or is their entire relationship performative, maintained only because royal protocol demands it? Royal expert Valentine Lowe told GB News that Kate is a completely different person to Camilla. She's very controlled and cautious, and careful. Camilla is much more outgoing. Different personalities, different approaches, different eras. But perhaps the most important question is this. When William becomes king, will Camilla fade gracefully into the background? Or will there be a final power struggle, one last attempt to maintain relevance? The Tale of Two Queens. In the end, this is a story about power, legacy, and the impossible position of women in the royal family. Camilla fought for decades to transform from mistress to queen. She endured public hatred, rebuilt her reputation painstakingly, and finally achieved her dream. Now, just as she's settling into the role, she can see the next queen waiting in the wings. Younger, more popular, unburdened by scandal. Kate, meanwhile, has played the long game perfectly. She married for love, but also understood the assignment. She's crafted an image of relatable royalty, survived cancer with grace, and positioned herself as the monarchy's future. She's learned from Diana's mistakes. Never complain, never explain. Always maintain dignity. The British media loves a good royal rivalry, and Kate versus Camilla makes for perfect drama. But the truth, as always, is more complicated. These are two women navigating an institution that wasn't designed for them, that barely tolerates them, that demands they smile and wave while tearing them apart behind closed doors. They're not enemies. Not really. They're two people trying to survive the same impossible system. But only one can wear the crown. The endgame. As we move deeper into 2025, the signs continue to accumulate. Kate's public appearances grow more confident, more assured. She's no longer the nervous girl who married a prince. She's a woman who knows her worth, her power, her future role. Camilla continues her duties, But there's a sense of impermanence now. She's queen, yes, but for how long? Every appearance raises the same question. Is this the beginning of her reign, or the end? The palace maintains its silence, as palaces do, but the staff talk, the insiders leak. The photographs tell stories that press releases never will. At the Qatar state visit in November 2024, photographers captured a telling moment. Kate and Camilla standing side by side, both smiling for the cameras. But look closer at their eyes. Kate's gaze is direct, confident, forward-looking. Camilla's holds something else, a weariness perhaps, or resignation. Two queens, two visions for the monarchy, two women who history will remember very differently. The verdict of history. One day, historians will look back at this period and try to make sense of it all. They'll analyze the photographs, the public statements, the carefully worded press releases. They'll debate whether Kate and Camilla were friends or rivals, whether the tension was real or media invention. But here's what they'll know for certain. In the early 21st century, two women stood at the heart of the British monarchy during a period of extraordinary transition. One represented the past, messy, complicated, human. The other represented the future, polished, careful, strategic. And in the end, as it always does, the future won. Because that's the thing about monarchies. They survive by constantly reinventing themselves. The institution that once demanded virgin brides now celebrates a cancer survivor. The family that shunned Camilla for decades eventually made her queen. The establishment that looked down on Kate's working-class roots will one day bow to her as Queen Catherine. The monarchy evolves, or it dies. Camilla knows this. Kate knows this. And somewhere in between their careful smiles and practiced waves lies the truth of what it really means to be a woman in the House of Windsor. You fight for your place, you protect your position, and you pray the tide of public opinion doesn't turn against you. The human cost. But let's not forget, amid all the palace intrigue and power plays, these are real people with real feelings. Camilla waited most of her adult life to marry the man she loved. She endured public hatred, was called every name imaginable, watched herself portrayed as a villain in films and television shows. When she finally got her happy ending, marriage to Charles, acceptance, if not love, from the British public, the title of Queen, she was in her 70s. How many years does she have left to enjoy it? And Kate? Kate survived cancer at 42. She spent over a decade having every outfit, every gesture, every parenting choice scrutinized and judged. She's raised her children in a goldfish bowl, knowing that every photograph will be analyzed, every public appearance dissected. She's Diana's daughter-in-law, but also, in some ways, Diana's replacement. And that's a burden no one should have to carry. These women didn't choose to be rivals. The system made them rivals. The institution that demands they work together also pits them against each other through simple mathematics. There can only be one queen at a time. The price of the crown. In the end, both Camilla and Catherine have paid dearly for their proximity to the throne. Camilla sacrificed her reputation, her privacy, and years of her life waiting for a man who couldn't marry her because she wasn't virgin enough, aristocratic enough, perfect enough for an heir to the throne. When she finally won, the prize came tarnished with public disdain and Diana's ghost. Catherine sacrificed her freedom, her anonymity, and very nearly her life. She did everything right, was patient, elegant, dutiful, and still faced vicious criticism about her background, her family, her body. She survived cancer, but she'll never escape the constant comparison to Diana, the expectation to be perfect, the knowledge that millions of people are watching her every move. Neither woman chose an easy path. Neither woman gets much sympathy for the difficulties they face, because how can you complain when you live in palaces and wear crowns? But the truth is this: the crown is heavy, and it costs more than most people can imagine. What happens next? As we look toward the future, several scenarios present themselves. Scenario 1. Charles lives another decade or more. Camilla settles into her role as queen. Kate waits patiently in the wings, and the tension between them remains unspoken but ever present. The media continues to speculate, but nothing dramatic happens. Scenario 2. Charles's health deteriorates more rapidly. William ascends sooner than expected. Camilla finds herself sidelined, no longer the focus, watching as Kate takes center stage. The changing of the guard happens swiftly, unceremoniously, inevitably. Scenario 3. Something breaks. A public argument, a leaked conversation, a moment when the carefully maintained facade cracks and the British public sees what's really happening behind palace walls. The monarchy, already weakened by Harry and Meghan's departure and various scandals, takes another hit. Which will it be? Only time will tell. The legacy. Question. Here's what both women must be thinking about, even if they never say it aloud. How will history remember me? Will Camilla be remembered as the woman who finally won Charles's heart and helped stabilize the monarchy during a difficult transition? Or will she always be the other woman, the homewrecker, the reason Diana cried? Will Kate be remembered as the commoner who modernized the monarchy and brought it into the 21st century? Or will she be seen as calculated, strategic, a woman who used her looks and charm to snag a prince? The answer depends partly on what happens next, and partly on forces entirely outside their control. History is written by the victors, yes, but it's also written by whoever controls the narrative. And in the age of social media, everyone has a voice. The final word, for now. As I speak in November 2025, the story is still unfolding. Kate continues her recovery, gradually returning to public life. Camilla battles her chest infection and fulfills her duties when she can. William prepares for his future role. Charles soldiers on, balancing his own health crisis with the demands of kingship. And somewhere in all of this, two women navigate an impossible situation with as much grace as they can muster. The British public, ever fascinated by royal drama, watches and waits. The tabloids continue their speculation. The palace maintains its careful silence. But the truth is this: the story of Catherine and Camilla is not really about emeralds or tiaras or who wore what to which state dinner. It's about power, about legacy, about two women trying to carve out their place in an institution that wasn't built for them. It's about the past and the future colliding in the present. It's about the impossible price of the crown. And most of all, it's about the fact that in the British monarchy, as in life, there's never enough room for everyone to win. Someone always has to step aside. Someone always has to lose. The only question is, who will it be? The monarchy continues its march forward as it has for over 1,000 years. Kings and queens come and go, scandals erupt and fade. But the institution endures because it must. And Catherine and Camilla, two women who never asked to be rivals, will play their parts until the script demands they exit stage left. That's the price of royalty. That's the cost of the crown. And that's the story that will be told and retold for generations to come. Share your thoughts. Do you think Camilla's feelings are valid in all this? Let us know in the comments. And if you're loving these royal updates, be sure to like and subscribe for more.